Hello and welcome to day 15 of 21 Days of Presence. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, today we're feeling some energy really starting to move out of this confusion muck. It's really important to keep in mind that we've been in retrograde season with all of our forward motion, all of our action planets, Mercury, Mars, and Saturn retrograde all summer long pretty much, or we were just feeling this all the way since the middle of May. And so we're starting to feel we're coming out of this retrograde energy, but there's still also some stuck energy. And this is because so much is trying to change and shift in our world right now. And so part of the energy for today is kind of allowing ourselves to be where we're at. And it's a little frustrating because if we've had, these 3-4 months of kind of waiting around to figure out what our next steps are and where we're going. And this has caused, and especially if Mars has really activated your chart with those early degrees, first 9 degrees of Aquarius or other fixed signs. And especially with this fixed cross right now, you've been really feeling it and really feeling like, what is going on and where am I going and what am I doing and who am I? And so we're starting to move into some new energy. You can feel it. Things are lightening up a little bit. The big transits, that T-square is kind of coming off right now, as well as that Mercury opposite of Neptune. So it's kind of like we're having a little bit of a feeling like, okay, we can breathe. And it's a great opportunity to be where we're at, because, this is part of the ego death of the summer. It's like, if you know exactly where you're going and you're going to go make some stuff happen in this world. And, this is our old way of creating with Mars but then Mars retrograde in Aquarius is speaking to, how do we move forward? How do we make stuff happen? How do we be the warrior in the Aquarian age? And so we're kind of learning a whole new way, a whole new game. And part of this game is allowing yourselves to be where we're at. I know it's hard after a whole summer of trying to just be where you're at and waiting for some clues of what's going on. But these clues are coming. And things are starting to move in new directions, but we are also continuing to have karmic bloom. Now, part of that, so these personal planets are planets that move pretty fast, that we're in this fixed square. Venus and Mars, that's still happening a little bit, but it's kind of like letting off a little bit, and the Mercury moves pretty fast, so it's coming off of that opposition. So now we're feeling more of the bigger aspects that are going on. And one of those is Saturn in square to Chiron. And these planets are just 1 degree out of exact square, just like all of the things that are happening right now in the bigger planets, the slower moving planets. So we have Saturn in square to Chiron. We've got Jupiter still in sextile to Pluto, and also Saturn in trine to Uranus. And so these are really the energy of this next period of time, this next week, as we complete this season has to do with these aspects. So we'll talk through a little bit right now, but the overall energy has to do with, can you be where you're at? Because until you can be where you're at, we can't really change anything. And so part of the ego death of this Mars retrograde has to do with that we're learning how to co-create with the universe. And it's not about us going out there and making it happen, because we don't have the information and we don't have this timing and we don't have the support. So it's kind of like the female way of creating. So the male way of creating is that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make it happen. Okay. And then the female way of creating is listening to the messages and allowing the timing to work well, to take a step and let the universe take a step. And this is where we're forced to do. So it's like we're kind of attached to, that old way of ego production in this world, and it's not going to work anymore. So that's partly what's going on. So today is a really great energy to kind of just rest and land and be where you're at fully and completely, so that you can move into the new energies. And this is where we get kind of caught up, because when things aren't moving in the way we think they should move in our life, then we get like, oh, I have to figure this out. I have to do it. This is where we're kind of like playing God or pretending that we are God, but like pretending that we in our little realm of what access narrow consciousness and our 3D reality knows like what's best and how to make it happen. And we don't, our higher self does, you know? And so this time is a lot about like giving us an opportunity to forge back a connection to that higher self, to our future self, the part of ourselves that can see the bigger picture of what we're really trying to do here. And can we trust in that? And it's hard to trust in these days and times because it feels like there isn't any support. Everything seems to be working against creating light and beauty and harmony, what the light workers came to do. And so it feels kind of like, can I trust my higher self? Like, what does that even mean? Like, can I trust anything? Can I trust anyone? And this is part of those false messages that are being transmitted through the lower vibrational matrix, is that you cannot trust. And so we have to, again, reach up and above to that part of ourselves. And this is the benefit. It's not very fun, but when shit's going down in your life and you're like, what in the heck is going on? It brings you to that place of like, okay, higher self, I'm going to be right here, right now. And it kind of pushes us into that. So, you know, it's maybe like a whole shift of perspective available right now of that these happening in this period of time and our wounds coming up and all this stuff going on, especially with the Saturn square Chiron, that we can use this as an opportunity. So Saturn is tricky because Saturn is like our true path, but what's in the way of your path. And it's kind of got an authoritarian energy, like, oh, do you get to? Are you good enough? Did you work hard enough? You know, and it's all a mask and a lie and an illusion, because underneath on the Saturn, the true path of Saturn is this our true path and what we really want to do here, what we really resonate with. But Saturn is the gatekeeper to the higher worlds, and it represents all this kind of energy around, you know, everywhere where we've given our power away. And what's coming up around the upcoming Aries new moon, and I just set that activation, it's going to be 8 p.m. on Monday, the 24th of September. I hope you can join me, because this Aries full moon is going to be really intense and powerful. It's like, so we're really feeling the Saturn square Chiron, and the deal with this Aries full moon is that it happens at the second degree about of Aries, right by Chiron. And so huge messages there. That means it's in square to Saturn. So we're looking at where have we given the patterns of our past, the wounds, the stories, the programming, power over us. What if what's working against us is simply beliefs that have been programmed? And can we change those beliefs? So we're going to kind of start into that energy today, just like with this whole thing of like being where we're at, because we get so focused, and this has been an effect of this retrograde season. It's like, how do I get to, what do I need to do? Right? Like, what do I need to do? I need to go make something happen. Then I'll feel better, you know, and it's like been a painful process of just kind of being suspended in time. And so now it's starting to move, but it's a whole new energy and a whole new relationship to time. And we need to learn how to create and manifest in a different way. And so you cannot, we focus so much on how we want things different in our life. And you cannot make, things can't shift and change in these new energies until you can be right where you're at. And can you be where you're at and shift that, you know, put your energy towards what's working and what you're grateful for, and appreciate the now, and how far you've come, you know, and shift this energy of blockage and things, obstacles. That's the energy of Saturn. It's like this, no, you can't, you know, this authoritarian energy. It says, no, you can't, you're not ready yet. You know, did you prove yourself? And it's all just a bunch of BS that we bought into in the past, but it's serving as much of a test as we need it to be. And it ultimately has that beautiful opportunity, which is hard to see in the moment, but to connect in with our higher self and, you know, surrender to that, the part of ourselves that knows. Don't surrender to the matrix, you know, and give up. Surrender to the part of you that knows that there's something bigger and that has the plan all figured out, and tap into how much that guidance has gotten you to where you are today, how far you've come, say from 2012. We've gone through a lot of stuff. And can we be there in this place of appreciation of the process and be right where we're at? I am where I am right now in order to allow your higher self and the forces of the universe to conspire to adjust. This is part of this Jupiter sextile Pluto adjustment. We can adjust. We can, just work it a little bit and be flexible. And so with this Saturn, Saturn, is this limitation energy, and in square to Chiron, and it's about power and authority. And so it's like we've given our power over to our past patterns. So for this full moon, we're going to have a bloom, most likely, of everything we've been working on all summer that's kind of been seething under the surface. We've got this Jupiter cruising through Scorpio now, coming out soon of its retrograde shadow. And so, but then it's like, so this full moon energy, this what we're moving into in this next week, is kind of showing us where we've given our power away to these false beliefs. And so there's going to be a bloom of that stuff. And that's kind of uncomfortable, but at the same time, the other energies in the universe right now are like miracle healing and insights and information and support that's available to kind of move you through this. So it's like, we don't have to wallow in these anymore. The Saturn square Chiron is like, cut the ties, break the patterns, change those beliefs, and use your energy to, this of presence and surrender to your higher self to be, tell the universe you're ready for these new energies. You're ready to co-create together. You're ready to reach out above these the negative energies of the lower matrix field and be a part of the cosmic energies that are landing on Earth right now. So, with that Saturn trine Uranus, we're also still feeling these big transits are all 1 degree out of an exact angle. So it's pretty cool. We've got this like just these beautiful, just that sextile, Jupiter sextile Pluto. We can kind of look at the shadow. We can adjust the structures of our lives, look a little bit more at the shadow, adjust the structures of our lives. And then we got that Saturn trine Uranus. So as much as Saturn's square Chiron, which is tension, and you can't go forward, and this is what's in the way, right? But then we've got Saturn trine Uranus, which is like, it's cool. We can harmonize this process. We can bring in this new spiritual information, that connection to that higher self, these synchronicities. We can allow this awakening to occur in the structures of our lives and the structures of our world in a harmonious, gentle way. So let's go ahead and just tap into this energy of being where we're at in order to allow these new ways of creating and this new information to come in. And so just go ahead and arrive right here, right now, in this moment. And just take a few deep breaths and enjoy this field. If you've been on these videos, each day we're kind of building, just taking 5 minutes, and building this etheric energy. This is kind of what's in the bigger picture, what we're trying to do on the planet right now, what light workers are here to do, but they have no idea what they're doing, So it's like this battle between the positive and negative energies and, the limiting forces and the oppression and the false matrix and all that. And then those higher cosmic energies that are trying to land. That battle is happening all day long in our own psyche. And it can really get us down if we get too caught in this feeling of things working against us and defeat, And so we have to be careful to find, like we talked about yesterday, claim that spiritual will to change your vibrational reality so you can resonate at the new coming in. But in order to do that, we got to be right where we're at. And so just let all of the concerns of this world, all your present problems, because there's always problems. And we go through life and we keep thinking, well, when I get through this, it's like, no, there'll always be something to worry about. And if you don't have something to worry about, trust me, you'll find something to worry about. And so the key right now, this message, this energy is about like, just put all that aside for a few minutes, just 5 minutes. It'll be there when you get back. But just, put it all aside and just be right where you're at and find something to feel good about in your life, like how far you've come, like your increasing connection to the higher part of you, to the messages that have been coming through that you've been hearing and acting on. And just kind of give yourself a pat on the back for making it through this summer and just being right here, right now, and just let all of that be there. Just let all of that be aside, and just taking a few deep breaths. And imagine that as you build this etheric energy, what we talked about, the light workers and indigo souls, crystal seeds, star seeds are on the planet to help build this etheric energy. You know where it comes from? It comes from our connection into the cosmos through our heart, through our own chakra system and our own energetic field. So as we claim this peace and harmony in our energetic field and these new cosmic energies, and allowing ourselves to rest in a way we haven't been able to on planet Earth, maybe through all of our incarnations here, and come home to this moment and rest and allow this reset to happen, and understand that the falling away and the breaking down is just moving things out of the way of those old stories, and you can be caught in this new energy and be a part of this new energy. Understand this new energy can come from your heart. And then gradually we're building the etheric energy, a whole new energy, a whole new matrix, the Christ consciousness matrix on the planet. And you can be a part of that right here, right now. And Buster wants to be a part of it too. So just go ahead and allow yourself to arrive right here, right now, in this moment. Paying attention to the base of your spine, giving yourself 5 minutes of rest. What if these new energies aren't breaking down in trauma and catastrophe like they want us to think? What if these new energies are like, oh, I'm held in this world. I'm loved. It's okay. I have support. I'm not alone. I'm on this beautiful journey. And just be where you're at on the journey, recognizing how much better you feel deep inside your being from perhaps the spring or the last few years. And just take a few deep breaths and pay attention to the base of your spine. Allow yourself to put down a root system and feel that etheric energy, the Christ consciousness, growing on planet Earth, catching us, holding us. And that this Christ consciousness is exactly in alignment with your higher self. Your highest self, okay? Because we have other higher selves, but it's really important that we go to our highest self. That's the part of ourselves that has already evolved back to be with Source. So it's a part of ourselves that is in direct communication with Source, and we can be in direct communication with that part of ourselves and feel safe, held, loved on a beautiful journey, being where you're at right now in deep appreciation and gratitude for this opportunity to be on this planet, expanding consciousness, expanding your own consciousness and the Christ consciousness on the planet through your heart chakra. So paying attention to the area of your heart, just taking a few deep breaths, breathing in air, light, and prana into your heart, and imagine that your heart, it's almost like I'm seeing a little toroidal field there. Like we have a toroidal field, which is like a donut shape of an energetic field. That's our energetic field all the way around our body. And I'm seeing there's also a tiny one around our heart too. And I'm seeing the earth there. Do you hold the earth in your heart? Like what happens in your life when you are where you're at right now and you hold a beautiful image of this earth evolution in your heart, and just breathing into your heart, imagining growing this kind of opalescent white light, etheric energy of hope and cosmic energy and support for our evolution that's available to us, and we just are cut off from it. We just allowed ourselves to get trapped into these belief systems that have been limiting us and having an authoritative power. So it's interesting because it's like we think that the forces of this world have an authoritarian power, but really where we give away our power is where we have allowed ourselves to buy in to false beliefs. And that's what the Saturn square Chiron is showing us. And so can we just flip that switch, rewire back to our organic Gaia codes on the planet, and know that this evolution is about turning into light? And here we are experiencing it right here, right now. And just be where you are. I am where I am in my process. And just relax and release. The earth is where she's at in her process. And together, your journey into the future. But only when you can be fully in the now. Just feel yourself floating, bringing yourself attention to the harmony, the incredible harmonic power of source energy that holds the planets in their perfect rotation. The further you get from the narrow reality we've been fed, the more harmony there is. So just feel yourself floating in the cosmos with Mother Earth on this beautiful journey in complete surrender to the now. And just feeling your whole neighborhood come into that heart frequency resonance. Just calm, release, deep trust. Those belief systems we've been fed tell us it's not. We can't trust our physical world. We can't trust the earth. We can't trust this process. But why would we be here if we can't? And just enjoying this union with the cosmic energies and with Earth, floating along in absolute harmony. And just stay here in this heart frequency resonance for as long as you would like. Bring it with you into your everyday life. Remember, you can come visit this field whenever you need to. For just a moment, bring yourself back to this I am where I am. And just knowing this field is here for you. That we're creating individually and with our collective consciousness, our soul groups together. So just being here as long as you would like in this meditation, and when you're ready, go ahead and complete your meditation. Well, thank you so much for joining me for day 15 of 21 Days of Presence. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on day 16. We're really moving along, and you can kind of feel this energy coming out of the sludge and confusion, but we're still learning how to, we're still adjusting to the new timelines and preparing and getting ready to completely cut the cords on those old stories coming up on this Aries full moon. So I hope you can join me for that live activation. The information is in the box below to sign up for that. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 16. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.